Now, protein intake, let's talk about why is protein important. Like we mentioned, eating protein burns more calories compared to eating carbs and fats because it takes energy to break down. Protein builds and maintains muscle mass, which burns more calories throughout the day. Protein makes sure you burn fat for fuel instead of muscle because protein breaks down into amino acids, and your muscle needs those amino acids to be able to build and maintain itself, and it keeps you full and satisfied throughout the day. That's why protein is important. Best sources. You can DM me free on Instagram at CoachXLE to get a free grocery list of literally the best foods that you want for fat loss, a 3-day strength training routine, and a weight tracker. However, if you don't want to do all that work, it's not a lot of work, but best sources of protein is going to be lean meats, fish, poultry, low-fat, non-fat dairy like non-fat, low-fat cheese, non-fat Greek yogurt, fat-free milk, 1% milk even works, eggs, egg whites, protein powders like whey, casein, soy, pea rice blend, or vegan sources of protein like legumes, beans, peas, lentils, nuts, seeds, all great sources. If you're eating a bunch of vegan proteins, try to include some animal sources. It's not the highest quality, most bioavailable to get vegan sources. You can definitely make it work. It just becomes a little bit harder. Now, how much do you need when it comes to protein intake? Well, it definitely depends, but if you're in a fat loss phase, I would keep these three numbers, this range into account, 0.7 to 1.2 grams of protein per pound of body weight. Now, when it comes to building muscle mass, they've done a bunch of studies. They did a meta-analysis. Meta-analysis is a study of a bunch of studies put together, and they found that in the meta-analysis that after eating 0.7 grams of protein per pound of body weight, there's no real gains that you make in terms of muscle mass, in terms of building muscle mass. So 0.7 is the bare minimum intake that you should eat. Now, what are certain benefits to going above that if there's no benefits in terms of muscle gain? Well, when you're in a fat loss diet, you're more likely to burn muscle for fuel. So those extra amino acids from that protein can definitely help out. When you're in a fat loss diet, you're going to experience hunger. So the extra protein can help you stay more full throughout the day. When you're in a fat loss phase, you want to burn as many calories as possible. So if you get more protein compared to getting more carbs and fats, the thermic effect of protein is really high. So you're going to be burning more calories compared to getting it from carbs and fats. So I would say that 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight is the optimal intake that you want to shoot for. And then 1.2 grams of protein per pound is the higher end. Anything past that, I wouldn't really recommend, because if you're in a fat loss diet, you want to make sure you're meeting the minimum carb and fat requirements to be able to have energy throughout the day, support your hormone health, and just, for basic function. So anything past 1.2, I wouldn't recommend. 0.7, 1, and 1.2. Stay somewhere in that range at all times, and you should be pretty good. Now, for obese people, you might be 250 pounds, and you're like, hey, dude, do I need to get 250 grams of protein in? That's very excessive. Good news is, no, you don't, because it's not based on your body weight. It's more based on lean body mass, how much lean body mass you have. So to calculate that out, it's a little bit complicated. A good simple rule to shoot for is just use your height in centimeters as the amount of grams of protein you need on a daily basis. So if you're 5'9", how many inches is that? Well, that's 69 inches. And to get centimeters, you multiply inches by 2.54. For a 5'9" person, they are 175 centimeters tall. They would eat 175 grams of protein on a daily basis to start losing weight. Now, best tips to get more protein in throughout the day. You want to baby step it up. It's going to take time for some. You want to set the measure of success pretty low, because that's what's going to keep you consistent instead of going way outside of your comfort zone. So if you're eating 80 grams of protein per day right now, you want to get to 150. Say, this week, my goal is to get to 100. The week after that, 115. The week after that, 130. And kind of baby step it up depending on where you're at, your levels of willpower, motivation, etc. Understand that it's going to take time for some people. Number 2 tip is start off the day with a high protein breakfast. People say, hey, if you were to eat a frog, when would you do it? Would you eat the frog? Would you wait in anticipation and eat the frog at the end of the day and kind of like dread your day, just thinking about, oh man, I got to eat the frog? Or would you just get it up and done first thing in the morning so you don't have to worry about it? Well, you would do the first, right? You would get it up and done. Same thing with your protein intake. If you get a lot of protein knocked out, yes, you want to have a rough, even spread of protein, but if you start off the day with like 40, 50, 60 grams of protein, you give yourself super nice momentum to be able to carry that into your second, third, fourth meal throughout the day, compared to starting off pretty low and now it hits like 2 p.m. and you're like, damn, I got to get like 150 grams of protein. How am I going to do this, right? So high protein breakfast definitely helps out big time, definitely satiates you a whole lot. And I would spread out roughly evenly over 3 to 6 meals throughout the day. So if you have a hard time getting protein in throughout the day, and you're only eating 2 or 3 meals, well, consider having more meals, right? And this can include snacks or shakes, whether it's those protein bars, whether it's a quick low protein shake that you mix with just almond milk or just water. Try spreading it out more. Instead of 50 grams at one meal, try like 25 grams at each meal, but just having more meals throughout the day. Best foods for just getting a whole lot of protein in, you want to have a high focus on lean meats, and you want to have a high focus on low-fat dairy, eggs, and egg whites, like non-fat Greek yogurt, cheese, low-fat cheese, fat-free milk, eggs, egg whites, and then lean meats like lean ground beef, lean ground turkey, chicken breast, canned tuna, and salmon. This should be your main focus. This should be where it's at. This is why it's so hard for vegans to do it, because they can't eat any of these foods. These foods are so low calorie and so protein dense compared to everything else that it's just going to make your job a whole lot easier when it comes to fat loss. Now, when it comes to double scooping protein powder is the best hack to get in more protein. That's literally 50 grams and about 200 to 300 calories. Double scoop protein powder into a shaker bottle. Put water in there. Put unsweetened almond milk in there. Shake it up. Bada bing, bada boom. That's 50 grams. I mean, how easier does it get, ladies and gentlemen?